2024 is slowly coming to an end, so it's time to look back at one of the most turbulent years in Overwatch history. Let's have a look. This is a series of videos I make every single year. First, we take a look back at what happened in the last 12 months, and then next week we're going to look forward at what we can expect for 2025. And every single year, these two videos kind of have that same vibe. There's always a bit of a disappointing look back, while we still remain hopeful when we look at the future. And this year, it's much of the same, however, it is quite different. Because 2024 has been a very intense year, both for the team itself and for us as players. It started out back in January when about half of the team was laid off. It was one of the biggest industry-wide layoffs waves and restructures that we've ever seen. According to a lot of people, this is a result of a post-pandemic fallback of the numbers. And AAA studios starting to realize that they're losing their grip on their customer base. But overall, I think we can attribute it to corporate greed. And for Blizzard, all those fingers were pointing at Microsoft, the new owner of Activision Blizzard, which was a bitter pill to swallow for both us and the team, because everybody was quite hopeful when Microsoft finally managed to close the deal and send off Bobby Kotick packing so he could work on his global domination plans with his other rich corporate douchebags. Now, Microsoft stated that these plans had been there from before they took over, and that these takeovers always come with the elimination of some redundant positions. Sure. But I do think that Microsoft Gaming was trying to send a signal to their mothership, Microsoft, telling them that, yeah, sure, we just spent about $70 billion, but it's going to be okay. Now, the reason why the Overwatch team got hit so hard is PvE. Up till now, it has not yet been officially confirmed, but we know through the grapevine and a lot of articles that there are no more PvE missions coming for Overwatch. That's over. That's done. Why? Well, they didn't work. And above all, they didn't sell. So everybody that worked on those missions was fired. Again, why didn't they allow them to help with other stuff that needed to happen in Overwatch? Well, simply put, Overwatch was just not making any money. They couldn't afford to have this big a team, sadly. And they ended up cutting in their team so hard that it actually became very noticeable for us as players. Not for the first few seasons. They had everything covered up till, I think, 1 or 2 seasons. But as the year progressed, we could see these little patches of duct tape popping up. We could notice that some things were not as finished as they're supposed to be. Things didn't pan out as we expected. And some stuff just went completely missing. But on the other hand, there was this new aura surrounding Team 4. Once they had worked through the loss of so many of their co-workers, a more open team arose from the ashes. A team that needed and wanted to figure out a new vision for the game. And not by themselves. Not from their usual ivory tower, but together with their community. Which is not the change that is going to give us the results that we want from day one. But it is the start of a process that took a few months, and that will take another few months before we start to see those big changes. But there already have been some good signs. Now, overall, when it comes to content, we have seen the release of 3 new heroes. 2 actually very successful, maybe the most successful hero releases that we have seen in all of Overwatch 2. And then there was 1 hero that struggled. Venture. But to be fair, I think they expected Venture to kind of struggle. Their kit is quite unique in the whole scope of Overwatch. There also was a new game mode added, Clash. Not the biggest success, but definitely better received than Flashpoint. And that was mainly due to them testing the mode before they released it. And even after the release, they kept listening to the community to find ways to improve that mode. Now recently, we haven't seen any other big changes, but I do think they just kind of want to wait it out. For Clash, that is, at least. And they're also waiting for the results of 6 vs 6, which brings me to the next topic. To see Aaron Keller actually address a discussion that has been going on since the release of Overwatch 2 was not on my bingo card for 2024. I always thought that they would rather have shot the game right in the back of the neck before they addressed that issue. Mainly because it is a discussion they cannot win. But they did it. And as a result, we are currently testing 6 vs 6. But when they announced that, when that started to roll out, that was the moment where I went, oh, they're actually listening. Now, we're going to see how this all pans out, but it did prove that we do get a say in the whole of this game, as long as that say is formulated politely, and it is based on real issues instead of, I don't know, hearsay. In 2024, perception really took over for Overwatch 2. I got the feeling that there's like 2 versions of this game. The real game that I play on a daily basis, and this weird, skewed, alternate dimension version, the perception version, which is basically an agglomeration of all the bad things that ever happened in Overwatch, and in every single player's personal life. It is in an indefinite state of suck. And the reason for this is because this game is being played very differently depending on your region, your rank, what your main is, who you're playing with, and which creators you follow. So, with every new feature that they'll announce, all these elements come into play. And even before that feature is being tested or released, the whole community has already decided that Team 4 does not know how to run their game, and they all should be fired. And in front of that mob is a line of content creators holding the torches, leading the pack to the abyss of the dead game. However, when that feature actually releases, and it turns out that it has little to no impact or maybe even a positive effect on the whole game, these creators just kind of extinguish the torches and sneak out quietly, leaving the mob right there yelling at everybody, still convinced that Overwatch was ruined. Now don't get me wrong, for everything that they end up nailing, there's also a few things that they missed. They're not perfect, but look, if every of their bad decisions gets highlighted and all of the good decisions get buried under a ton of hate, you get this kind of Frankenstein perception of the game, which is healthy for nobody. It is an uphill battle. There are people that are ashamed to tell their friends that they still enjoy Overwatch. Well, screw it. I enjoy Overwatch more than ever, actually. And look, sure, I would have loved to see some gameplay tied into the many collabs that we got this year. But let's be honest, we got some really amazing collabs. Sure, I would like to see more free rewards for people that put in a lot of time into this game, instead of everything being in the shop. Sure, they should not be selling mythic prisms. And let's be honest, 20 bucks for a skin, it's still kind of bonkers. Sure, I want to see a game mode that lives up to the original modes. Sure, I want to see this game evolve beyond new heroes and new maps, new cosmetics. However, changes have been happening on all levels. In 2024, the gameplay design team has been experimenting a lot, more than they did in the 9 years before that. We had pickable passives, a talent system. We had all of these experimental game modes like April Fools and Mirror Watch, and quite a few of these quick play hacks this year. In the last 12 months, we've seen them stretch the concept of what is Overwatch in ways that we have never seen before. And when it comes to cosmetics, we recently saw that bundle of zombie skins, which are kind of reimaginings of old skins, but it was at a very, very low price. And during this Winter Wonderland event that is still going on, there's a total of 8 skins you can get for free. 3 of them are Twitch drops, 4 of them you get with the normal gameplay, and 1 of them is tied into the collab. We didn't even see stuff like this in the original game. At some point, at the new competitor that joined the scene in the last few weeks, Marvel Rivals. Let me reiterate something I posted on Twitter this week. A lot of people seem to be convinced that Team 4 is in shambles, in full panic mode, scrambling to survive. But that, my friends, is that perception thing again. And it includes those torch bearers that I was talking about earlier. The reality is, are they going to notice Marvel Rivals in their numbers? Sure, definitely. Are they watching what Marvel Rivals is doing? Yeah, that's what they all do. But the main focus is their own game. Because there's something that we as Overwatch players don't always realize, but Blizzard has been dealing with competitors forever. I went through all of this several times with World of Warcraft and Diablo. You do not want to know how many Warcraft killers or WoW killers there have been in the last 20 years. The biggest hit they took was when they lost quite a substantial part of the community to Final Fantasy. But they just kept doing what they did. They focused on their game, they started listening to the community, and now Warcraft is back. They're doing great. They are standing their ground. Same happened with Diablo and Path of Exile, or any of the other competitors. And same thing is going to happen with Overwatch and Marvel Rivals. I actually think that Marvel Rivals is the best thing that could have happened to Overwatch. I made a whole video about it. I posted it right before the weekend. I'll leave the link below. With all of this, all of these signs that we have been seeing, the fact that Team 4 has been hiring again, and we slowly see more content being rolled out, that the content is getting better, it all is kind of setting us up for a year that might prove to be rather interesting. But I'll talk more about that in next week's video, where we look forward to 2025, so make sure to subscribe. But tell me, what is your highlight in Overwatch for 2024? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, enjoy the New Year's celebration. Be safe. And thank you all for your support in the last 12 months. It has been amazing. But I'll talk more about that on my personal channel and maybe in next week's video. For now, however, that was it. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons. I could not make these videos without you guys. You have my eternal gratitude. You too can join the Omnic Post family over on patreon.com/theomnicpost. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Happy New Year.